Welcome to Whatever Podcast, number 17. That's right, folks. I'm back. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, you didn't have to. You really. Come on, please. Stop it. Stop it. Wow, it has been, 7 months? By the way, I've been practicing that fade. That timing, that was pretty nice, right? That fade in the intro? Yeah, you like it. This week, I'm talking about Kim Jong-un's take on K-pop, which is more controversial than you might think. Music now in Dolby Atmos surround sound on Apple Music. I'm going to get into depth about how I think that's changing the game of music for the future of music. Reviewing my Rodecaster Pro, which you see right here, which you see me interacting with to do all these sound effects. Wow, you guys are still giving me applause. And so much more. But first, let's get into some other shit. Let's cut off that. That was kind of distracting me. It sounds nice and peaceful now. Couple life updates. I don't have a new job. I lost my newer job and went back to my old job. And, I was upset about it at first, but it honestly came as a blessing in disguise. At my last job, the one I got let go from, I was on night shifts for 2 years. And literally for 2 years, I was begging my manager. I'm like, please, can I get morning shifts? It's just the whole thing of having to force yourself to wake up early. Unless I have to be at a job early, my body says no. My body's going to hit that snooze alarm. It's going to shut off the alarm. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting sleep if I don't have to be anywhere. And so I sleep my whole free time away, and then I just work all day. And that's what the cycle was at my last job. And now I'm working at Dunkin' Donuts full-time again as a shift leader, working early mornings, and I'm out by noon every day. And don't get me wrong, I tell people that, and they're like, yeah, I can never do that. I'm not a morning person. Bro, you think I'm a morning person? Fuck no. I've literally cried because of how badly I did not want to wake up. I was like, yeah, I just don't want to go to work. If you don't get enough sleep, it especially makes it brutal. But it's not easy. It's not easy. But let me tell you, getting out at noon every day and essentially having every day or most of every day free, you can choose to take a nap for a couple hours and then wake up, have the whole evening and night, or you can just stay awake and just go to bed a little earlier later on. I don't know. I just feel like I have so much more free time. And I'm able to do the stuff I'm passionate about, hence why I'm doing this again. Also, I will explain a little bit why I've been gone so long. I remember for the longest time, I was like, you know what? I am not going to do another podcast unless I have a guest host or a guest on. And so I asked a few different people. There's a bunch of people that are down. I just can't seem to set up a right date and time with them. And then I finally actually did one with Hunter and Ebony, otherwise known as Mr. Glitches and Bunny One Savage. Back in October, which was whatever podcast number 27. And it just, I don't know. We kind of just went right to filming the podcast. And so it's you can still tell we're a little awkward with each other. Because it was literally they got here, I showed them around my house, and they were like, all right, you want to do the podcast? Because I had it set up down here. I was like, yeah, sure. And we did it. And then we did a drinking game, which is also something that you're not really supposed to do on YouTube. And things kind of went off the rails towards the end. And so it's where do I cut it? And so I decided to not post that one. And then it ended up just becoming such a long thing that I was like, all right, well, I'm going to just take a break from that for now, I guess. And I actually have a bunch of other ideas for podcasts I want to do. One of them specifically with a couple other people that I talk to. So hopefully I can get that running. But for now, this is running again. And hey, I'd have 2 or 3 podcasts running. Like I'll have this every weekend and then maybe another podcast in the middle of the week. And yeah, it's just dude, I don't know. And I've been getting, not to sound like I'm bragging or anything, but I've been getting a lot of compliments recently. People like on Discord or on live streams, even in real life, like I get compliments like, wow, you have a really nice voice. But especially now that I have the Rodecaster with all the audio processing and this microphone, people are like, dude, you sound like you should be on the radio. Or like, what are you doing? Come on, get with it. I'm like, you're right. And I've literally had this Rodecaster for 3 months now. I got it in March. I posted a picture of it on Instagram when I first got it. And this is my first podcast with it. So anyways, I'm kind of getting off the rails. So yeah, life updates, got a new job. Well, didn't get a new job. Went back to my old job because I got laid off from my other job. But it's all good because now I'm able to give you more content. Also, earlier today, I was at Starbucks to get this. Got home. Got a message on Facebook. Hey, I found your wallet in the parking lot. I gave it to one of the Starbucks workers. They said they're going to put it in the safe. I was like, what? Hold on. My wallet's gone? What the fuck? I literally had no idea. And so I was like, oh my God, like, thank you. They're like, yeah, no problem. You had all your cards in it. You didn't have any cash. I was like, yeah, there was no cash in it. I'm broke as fuck. But, yeah, shout out to them. I'm not going to say their name, but that's fucking amazing. Are you kidding me? You saw a wallet and instead of, like, I'm a good person. I wouldn't have taken it, obviously, but I would have just turned it into the Starbucks worker and not have tried to look them up on Facebook and fucking find them. What a fucking legend. Woo! Shout out to them for that. Woo! That's fire. That's fire. That's fire. You gonna go out of your way to find somebody on Facebook that you just found their wallet and you look at their ID, their license, and lifesaver, bro. Lifesaver. I literally didn't know. Because I usually leave my wallet in my car. So I would have gotten in my car maybe later today, maybe not even till tomorrow, and been like, wait a minute, where the fuck's my wallet? I would have had no idea. I would have no idea where it would have been. I would have been like, did I put it in my room somewhere? I would have went crazy. They're a fucking lifesaver. So there's some life updates. I got a few podcast updates. I think I've already went into this a little bit. First of all, as you may notice, my mic looks a little different from last time. As you know, I went on a whole rant and a whole praise fest about how much I love the RE20 microphone. This is the same exact microphone I used. I just painted it myself because apparently Electro Voice released 3 months back in December 2020. 3 months after I got my RE20, which was the original ugly beige color, December 2020, Electro Voice released a black edition of the RE20. Not the RE320, which is a different microphone entirely that looks very similar. But this is the RE20, just the black edition. But not this one. This one is the beige edition that I custom painted black. And I gotta say, it looks really good. And let me tell you, it was not fucking easy. It was a process, way more of a process than I would have ever imagined. The way I did it was kind of weird too, because I fucking used spray paint and painted a paintbrush and went over it upside down and made sure it was not like dripping so it wouldn't, I didn't want to ruin any of the insides. And and then like it was smearing and I was like, oh fuck, this is going to take so many layers. This is going to take I got to do a layer and it's going to look terrible. And then I got to wait hours and then I got to do another layer. And then hopefully it's going to build up and look good. And I immediately regret it. As soon as I did that first paint stroke, I was like, fuck, I should have just kept it. But I said, fuck it, I'm going to go all in. I did it, and now I don't regret it because look how nice and sleek it looks. It blends in. That was the only thing I had. That was the only thing I complained about this microphone. I was like, you know, if there's one thing I had to complain, it looks kind of ugly. Now, looks beautiful and sounds beautiful. No better mic. Obviously, I've already mentioned I got a new podcast recording / audio processor / sound effects board / preamp / USB interface, Rodecaster Pro right here, which is how you're hearing me. I'm going to do an in-depth review of that in a little bit. But first, I'm still giving you some podcast updates. Also, I'm adding time codes in the description for all of the things that I talk about. You know, I noticed fairly recently, I mean, it's kind of actually old news now, that YouTube started putting like segments in the actual timeline. If you put time codes in the description, I think that's really fucking cool. It gives people the visual to, you know, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. I know not all of you are here for the whole thing, for the long run. You might just want to check out a specific part. And you might not want to wait a week until I put out highlight clips, and there may not even be a clip of the part that you wanted to see. So I'll give you time codes. And also, it helps me see ahead of time before I put podcast highlights out what you guys are going to the podcast for to see. You know what I mean? You feel me? It's a win-win. Also, bars of the week, as you know, at the end of every podcast, I give you guys 5 fairly newer hip-hop rap songs that I really enjoy, that I think are either lyrical or just a bop, or that inspire me in the music that I make. I'm now renaming it to Monthly Bars, still with 2 Z's. So it's still going to be every week. I'm going to give you 5 songs. I'm going to give you recommendation of 5 hip-hop rap songs. And then I'm going to add it to a playlist, but the playlist is going to be the same playlist for a whole month. So for example, like what's today? June 12th is when I'm filming this. Not sure when it's coming out, but so we've already missed a week in June. So I've actually went and added 10 songs to the playlist. And then next week I'll add 5 more songs to the playlist. Then it'll be 15 songs, and it'll just every month it'll be, I just think it's better that way. It makes the playlist even longer, more of it, it's more listenable, right? You can just hit shuffle and let it play. You can skip a few songs and not fucking reach the end of the playlist in 2 skips. You know what I mean? There's a better chance you're going to find something you like. And I hope to introduce you to a song that you really like on there and that you add to your own library or playlist or whatever. Also, I'm taking hip-hop news and tech talk out of the tagline of the podcast, even though that's probably the type of stuff I'm going to still talk about a lot. I just don't want to feel constrained to that, and also feel like I have to give you all 3 in every podcast. So, I don't know why I have to tell you that. I could just simply do it and take it out and not even say anything, but that's how I like doing shit. Woo! Woo, 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 woo! Gotta get the energy up, man. Sometimes I feel like I start going like this, and I'm just talking like this, and people say I have a pleasing voice when I do that, but man, I gotta bring the energy up, man. We're gonna be here for, I don't know, hopefully like an hour. That's usually how long these things are. I can't start. We're at 15 minutes in, but not even. Not even. I gotta. Woo! By the way, am I okay? No. People see this, they're like, dude, why you act like you're going crazy in your podcast? First of all, because I am. Second of all, I gotta be entertaining somehow. So that's fucking why. Fuck you. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to review my Rodecaster Pro. Okay, I'm going to break down how it works, what it can do, who it's for, and my personal processing settings with this microphone. Yeah. So let's get into it. First of all, I'm just going to say I fucking love it. I think it's amazing. You know, like I said, I've had it for 3 months, and this is the first podcast I'm making with it. Like, I've used it with my other main videos. Actually, it's funny. Someone at work recently talked or mentioned one of my videos, but said podcast. And it was when I did the Death Nut Challenge. And they were like, yeah, I watched your Death Nut Challenge podcast. I was like, that wasn't a podcast. But I was like, oh, I mean, I did have this mic and I was using this. I mean, it did sound like a podcast. I gotta say, it sounded great, you know. But anyway, so I'm gonna break this down for people that look at this thing and are like, what the fuck? There's all these sliders, all these buttons, all these knobs. What does all this do? I'm gonna break it down to the simplest terms. And by the way, first of all, they are selling this and making it seem like they are selling this targeting an audience that has no idea how to record audio. They're like, you don't have to know anything. You can just pull this out, get one of the mics that they have a preset for, hit the preset, boom, you could be recording a podcast in minutes when you take it out of the box. And it's true. It is very easy to use. Okay, but I'm gonna break this down to you. Okay, if you want to record audio onto your computer, you need 3 things: a mic, a preamp, and a digital audio converter. Now, some of you might have a USB mic and be like, what are you talking about? I just have a microphone. No, you do have those 3 things. They're all just built into the microphone. Hence, why USB mics can only go so far in quality, because you have a preamp and digital audio converter in the, like, you know what I mean? Microphones like this one, this is a big ass fucking heavy ass microphone that just picks up audio. Then it plugs into a separate device that has the preamp and the digital audio converter that is then turned into USB and plugs into the computer. Right? So it's just adding one extra step. For those that are scared of upgrading from their USB mic, it's just adding one extra device. The typical device that you see is the Scarlett Focusrite. It's only like $100. It's a really solid preamp and digital audio converter. And you get that thing, you get a cheap XLR mic, and guaranteed you're bound to sound better than a USB mic around that same price. But anyway, but then, right, if you have a Scarlett Focusrite, you're a little constrained, right? If you want to have multiple people, well, now you've got to get the Scarlett Focusrite that's got multiple mic ports, and that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars more. And then if you want to plug in multiple headphones so each person with a microphone can hear themselves, well, now you've got to go out and get a separate device called a headphones amplifier that I've learned from personal experience. If you buy a cheap one, it's not going to sound good. It doesn't affect the actual recording, but just how you hear yourself sounds tinny and weird because it's a bad headphone amplifier. So then you got to buy an expensive fucking headphone amplifier. So now you've got 2 devices. And then if you eventually want to get to the big leagues and are like, man, I want to hear live, real-time, no delay audio processing, compression, noise gate, all that as I'm recording. Oh, well, those are all usually separate devices that you have to buy individually that are also hundreds of dollars. And that now you've got all these devices plugged into each other, and it's a mess. And that's the route I was going. Because if you didn't know, before this, I had a Behringer mixer, and I was getting close to buying a noise gate / compressor device to then plug into the mixer and then have that. But I found out about this baby, about this device. Now, there's one other device. It's like called the Zoom Pod Track or something that I've actually seen a lot of really big podcasters use. Well, I've actually also seen a lot of big podcasters and streamers at this point using the Rodecaster, but this one's a little bit newer. I think the Zoom Pod I've seen a lot, just a lot more in older ones. But anyways, so this thing. So let me break this down for you. So first of all, right, I don't have a top cam to show you my Rodecaster. But Rodecaster, you want to see the owner's manual for this thing? Fucking life-size, unnecessary, but still kind of cool. Literally life-size. Same size as the actual thing. I love it. So it's got, I don't know how easy that is to see on fucking camera. It's got, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 microphone inputs. You could plug up to 4 microphones, XLR, that each have their own channels that you can go in and adjust the audio processing settings for. If you're interested to hear what audio processing settings this thing has, everything you could ever need for a podcast. High pass filter, noise gate, de-esser, compressor, and famous Aphex, spelled A-P-H-E-X, effects. Why do people gotta name shit all confusing, by the way? Aphex, effects? That's like just as confusing as my monthly unboxing videos that I do, where the company is named Unboxing the Bazaar and I unbox their box. Why is it gotta be in the name? Why you gotta make it so confusing to say? The Aphex effects on board, there's 2 of them. It's essentially EQ. Don't be scared by the names. Essentially EQ. We got an oral exciter. This, I don't know why I'm clicking into this as if you can see it. It's got an oral exciter, also not spelt O-R-A-L, but A-U-R-A-L, exciter. And this accentuates the high end or treble frequencies to bring up your speech. Okay, very useful. And big bottom, which accentuates low end to get that nice chesty, bassy low end in there. And that's it. Yeah, I said them all. So high pass filter, noise gate, de-esser, compressor, and 2 Aphex effects, oral exciter, but not oral exciter, and big bottom. Okay, those are all the effects that you can apply on all 4 microphone channels. Then you also have a USB channel. This is special. An actual slider channel from the audio coming from your computer via this thing being connected USB. That's how you input and output from your computer back through your headphones or speakers, right? Then you can also plug in an auxiliary cord, which they have a smartphone symbol for, because the way they sell this is like this is specifically for podcasting only, and this channel is for if you want to have phone calls. It's like, no, dude, you can plug. Let's be real. Let's think outside the box. You can plug anything auxiliary into this channel, and it'll have a slider for the channel. A Bluetooth channel. A freaking Bluetooth channel. That's on no other mixer, I think, or device like this has a Bluetooth channel. That's amazing. Connect your phone, turn up that, boom, now your music's playing out your headphones and anything else you have connected to this Rodecaster. And then this final slider is for this 8-button sound effects board, which in the touchscreen also has multiple banks. This thing has its own internal storage. You can have, I don't know, I have like 8 banks and I'm not even close to fucking halfway filling it. So, yeah, wow. So, I mean, just right there, 4 mic inputs, extra channels for music or other phone calls, people, sound effects right on the fucking device. It comes with pre-sound effects. You don't even need sound effects. If you're like, well, I don't really know how to, you don't need to. It's got them already built in. Just use the ones they have. This is where it gets really exciting, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 headphone outputs, each with their own individual volume knobs. Now that is a big deal. That's unheard of. You never have that many headphone outputs, and certainly they never get their own volume knobs. But now it's so easy to have multiple people in a podcast, have them plug in their headphones and adjust their volume to their own liking. It's beautiful. You can also plug in stereo monitor speakers and have another output. So that's actually 5 outputs. And they also have a little 3.5 millimeter jack on the bottom here. So 6 outputs. 6 fucking outputs. That's with each with their own knobs. It's unbelievable. As you can also see, it's got a big record button that you see right now is red on mine. That means it's recording. And I've got a micro SD card in there, and that's what it records to. And yeah, like you literally don't even need to connect this thing to a computer, right? It's got all the audio processing already on it. You've got all your sound effects. You can connect other things to play other sounds and music, and you can record right to it. Like literally this, I have my MacBook here just to see my notes for what I'm talking about. This device isn't even connected to it at all. Didn't even bring the USB cable down because you don't need it. I'm just recording right to the SD card. And it's easier this way because I've had so many problems in the past with this computer fucking recording with Audacity and Audacity freezing and then closing and then not saving my audio. As you know, if you've been watching this podcast for a while, you know I've had way too many audio problems. This device is going to eliminate that entirely because, I mean, the record button is big in red and there's a big ass count up for how long I've been going. So I really can't... I really don't have an excuse to not know if I'm recording or not. And, you know, I've never had this thing freeze up or anything, so I don't think that's possible. Knock on wood. Watch it happen right now. Wow. There's a lot. Okay, so, wow. That's a breakdown of the device. That's a breakdown of how it works. Who is it for? Again, you know, I think... their target audience is very obviously, first of all, people that have no clue what they're doing. And they're just like, yeah, dude, you can take this thing right out of the box, plug it in, and be recording within minutes and sound like $1 million, like a professional. And all of that is very true. However, my biggest problem with that, the price. The one thing I've avoided talking about this entire time, this thing is going to run you back about 600 buckaroonies, my friend. That's a hit. You know, and I just... Now, after all I've talked about, after all the things that this is capable of, $600 is very reasonable. Hence why I really wanted to get it. And also because I had just gotten my stimulus check. I'm not going to lie. I don't want you to think I just went out and bought a $500 microphone and then immediately bought a $600 interface. No. I'm not. That's a stimmy check, my friend. But yeah, like the people that they're targeting this for, the newbies that they're targeting this to, who out of them is gonna fucking spend $600? Nobody. None of them. And they don't have that much money. I barely have that much money, and I'm passionate, and I've been recording audio for 10 years, and I'm a young adult. I have a job. I can save up, but $600 is a lot for me. And I feel like a lot of you guys watching are around my same age or younger, and that's a big commitment for you, but you know, I just, but it's funny because I think they've realized that because again, like I've said, I've seen this device in professional podcasts. I haven't seen many, like, well, I guess I don't really watch many no-name channels, hence why they're no-name channels, but, you know, I don't see a lot of no-name channels using this, you know, and I guess I am now. Hey, hi guys, I'm a no-name channel. I got a Rodecaster Pro. I spend way too much money on shit that I don't need. But they had an update. They updated the firmware in this device recently, like within the last few months or a year or so, where they actually allow you to adjust all the parameters for the processing effects. Like you can actually set where the high pass filter is at what, at 80 hertz or 100 hertz, whatever, and all that for the noise gate, for everything else. You can set each individual parameter, whereas before this recent update, you weren't able to do that. Like this device was just for newbies, and it was just like you hit the preset for the mic, which they only had presets for Rode microphones, because this is a Rode device, and that was it. You had like I think a couple different options, like if you have a strong voice or a soft voice or a loud voice or a quiet voice, but that was it. That's all you could, and then you could turn off the individual audio processing settings, but you couldn't adjust anything. You couldn't see the parameters. Now you can, because I feel like they realized, oh shit, there's a lot of professionals using this. I mean, it is professional quality, like they're literally underselling this device. But anyways, if you get a stimulus check or if you get your taxes back and, if you're willing to commit to $600, this seriously will not disappoint. And as this is coming from somebody that, I film 90% of my shit by myself. I'm not even going to use half these ports or levels half the time. But the amount of times I've been in a situation where I do have multiple people, it's been a fucking struggle. And so now it's just going to be nice and easy, plug right in, have your own volume knob, have your own channel, and record right onto it. Boom. Sound effects on the same thing. That's it. That's all you need. Anyways, am I going on too long about this? People said I went on too long about my microphone. Listen, I'm an audio fucking nerd. I love audio. Speaking of audio, that's the greatest segue I've ever done. Apple Music adds lossless audio and Dolby Atmos surround sound for free. Spotify. Just saying, Apple Music. This is a big deal to me. Again, I'm a huge audio nerd. I love audio quality. I've been collecting vinyl for that reason. I'm going to break this down for you too. So what is lossless audio and what is Dolby Atmos surround sound? Okay, first of all, if you don't know already, music files on streaming services are typically very low in size, right? Makes it easy to stream, makes it easy, right? Because what is streaming? Streaming is live downloading, right? It's essentially you're downloading the song every time you go to it and play it. And so, you want to be able to do that in a way that's going to load quickly and that's not going to take up so much data or space on your phone if you decide to download it. Right? So how do they make those files so low with compression? Now, different from compression that like I'm using on my voice right now to contain audio volume levels, this type of compression literally, it takes out quality. It literally takes away quality from the original audio file that the studio saved the whole thing as, which is usually an uncompressed WAV file, And then streaming services take that and they compress them down. And, Apple, especially Apple, has come out with a thing called Mastered for iTunes, where they praise their way of compressing files in such a way that's almost indistinguishable from an uncompressed file. And I mean, it does sound great. And honestly, to the average person, it probably doesn't sound that much different. But just to have the option to listen to the music in literally the uncompressed file that the studio saved it in is a big deal to me. And to break this down for you a little bit, right? A 3-minute song at Apple's special mastered for iTunes file, a 3-minute song would be 6 megabytes large. It's a pretty small file size. A 3-minute song at lossless, which is just another word for uncompressed, 24-bit, which is known to be indistinguishable from actual real-life sound, is would be 36 megabytes. Literally 30 megabytes more information, more audio that is taken out when listening on a typical streaming service with compressed files. Now, also another thing to think about, most Bluetooth devices and Bluetooth connections in general don't even go that high, like 24-bit uncompressed. So you do have to go back to the old school auxiliary or through the lightning cable, actually plugging it in to really experience it. But I'm telling you, there's a lot more detail. There is more detail, even if it's not. I think certain songs are more noticeable. Like if there's a lot going on in a song, that's usually when you can hear it in the uncompressed version because, well, it's uncompressed. You're hearing all the instruments and everything without, compromising any frequencies or sounds or anything like that. So I just think that's really cool. On top of that, they added Dolby Atmos surround sound. Dolby Atmos is, I believe, just like, that's just what they use to create surround sound. It's surround sound. Dolby Atmos is surround sound, right? That's what they use in movie theaters. You see the sign for it, right? Dolby Atmos surround sound. Apple Music has gone in and taken a bunch of hit songs and turned them into surround sound. Now, I don't know how they've done this. I don't know if they got the project files or if they were to somehow take the lossless wave and do it from that, but I don't know. And on top of that, so if you have an actual surround sound system, I highly recommend connecting it to that and listening because it probably fucking sounds beautiful. But they also added their AirPods Pro earbuds can hear the surround sound. They somehow, I don't know, somehow with the chip they have in the Apple AirPods Pros, they're able to adjust the sound in a way so that it sounds like it's coming from all around you. And I listened, and honestly, it's kind of amazing. It would definitely sound better if you had legit a surround sound system and speakers all around you. But it's I don't know. It's really, you can hear the separation and all the instruments, and some instruments sound out here, and the vocals are always so upfront. It's kind of weird in some songs. It sounds weird. Again, probably just because I'm using the AirPods Pro thing, and there's certainly disadvantages to hearing surround sound in earbuds. But some songs do sound better, like Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. Oh my God, it sounds beautiful. And I'm telling you, this is a fucking game changer. You watch. I'm calling it now. Fucking 5 years from now. Maybe even less. A lot of big artists are going to start releasing their music with the option of listening to it in surround sound. It adds a whole nother dynamic to the art. It's just a completely different way of listening to the music, and It's fucking beautiful, dude. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah. So, wow. Switching gears a little bit here. That was a bad segue. Jeff Bezos will blast into space on a rocket's first crew flight. Okay. Jeff Bezos, he's going to be the first person to ride his own rocket. They've had 15 successful test flights with people, and he's also going to be by far the richest person to fly into space. Congratulations to him. It's going to be, I put 6-person people. 6-person people flight. 10-minute flight that will go to an altitude about 65 miles just beyond the edge of space and then return to Earth without going into orbit. Dude, 10-minute flight to 65 miles out into the edge of space? It takes me 10 minutes to drive to fucking work every day. Imagine sitting in a capsule and 10 fucking minutes later, oh, wow, I see the planets. I'm in outer space. Dude, that's crazy fast, bro. Rockets are fast, bro. Apparently he's dreamed of traveling to space since he was 5. He said, this is quote, "To see Earth from space, it changes you. It changes your relationship with this planet, with humanity. It's one Earth. I want to go on this flight because it's a thing I've wanted to do all my life. It's an adventure. It's a big deal for me." And apparently he's going to step down as CEO from Amazon 15 days before liftoff. Why? Who knows? Well, I guess he's rich enough. Why does he need to be CEO still? I mean, but I think this is the start. This is the start of rich people having way too much money and doing crazy, outlandish shit. You know, like this one is harmless, right? He's just flying up into outer space. I hope all goes well. You know, peace and love to him and his brother and and the other people that are going to be on the flight. You know, I hope it goes well. You know, he doesn't have to go into orbit. That's fucking cool. Imagine he goes too far and gets stuck in orbit. Like imagine Jeff Bezos now in orbit to the Earth. Fucking no. But you know, like who was it? It was like Bill Gates, right? That had the idea to fly a bunch of dust into orbit to help block the sun out. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Yeah, why not? Screw it. And then this other dude recently, I saw this video, some like governor or something of Kentucky wanted to take their state forest team or some shit. And he was like asking them, he's like, well, if there's any way we can help shift the orbit of Earth and the moon, you know, to help, you know, global warming. What? Bro, are you? And that's it. And dude, when people get to the point where they're so rich and technology is so high that they can just be like, yeah, I'm a fucking, let's move the sun by fucking 10 miles. Let's move the sun 10 miles away. Maybe that'll help. You know? Dude, we're fucked. We're fucked. I'm telling you. Fucked. Where? That's it. That's going to be the Earth. When that happens. Bye-bye. We're done. Wow. I didn't realize. See, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at knowing how long I'm going to talk about shit. Because I've got like fucking three more things to talk about, and I'm 50 minutes in. That's it. The podcast is over. Bye. El Salvador I thought this was really cool. El Salvador becomes the first country to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender. What? Well, everyone that invested on Bitcoin early is fucking, guess where they're moving? Woo! El Salvador, baby. Whoop, whoop. Get that money. Dude. How does that even work, by the way? Like, I actually understand Bitcoin, but I don't. And I understand, what's that other thing? I kind of understand NFTs, but I don't. You know what I mean? Dude, and if a country starts accepting Dogecoin, I'm moving there immediately, just for the meme. And no, not in like the way that people said when Trump got in office. Everybody said they were going to move to Canada, but they're still fucking here 4 years later. No, I'm telling you, if a country starts using Dogecoin as legal tender, I'm fucking moving there. No cap. Woo! No cap. Fucking no cap. Oh, and then I thought this was fucking hilarious, right? So it's like, oh, imagine investing in Bitcoin early on. You're fucking loaded. You've got all the fucking Bitcoins in the world. And then you see this article, El Salvador becomes first country to recognize it as legal tender. You immediately act and move there, think you're going to be the shit. This article also said it's also unclear how Salvadorian merchants are going to react when forced to accept payments in such a volatile currency, and how many of them will have the technical means to comply with the mandate. So essentially, you're still fucked. Like, they basically said, we don't know who in El Salvador has the technical capabilities of accepting Bitcoin, but if they can, they'll take it. If they can't, you're fucked. That's why you read articles, people, and you don't just read the headlines. Speaking of not just reading headlines, this headline is pretty much says it all. Kim Jong-un says K-pop is a vicious cancer that merits work camp, possibly execution. Listen, I've been trying to not be negative, not put negativity out in the world. There's no reason. There's never any reason to. But when it comes to Kim Jong-un, I think we can all agree he's a fucking psychopath. So I'm just going to read, amid increasing cultural influence from South Korea, the 37-year-old North Korean leader is imposing harsher penalties on citizens caught listening to perverse K-pop music. He literally says it's vicious cancer. Corrupting North Korean youth. Corrupting North Korean youth's attire, hairstyles, speech, and behaviors, a la the dancing in 80s movie Footloose, but with a much darker bent. That's what this dude thinks about K-pop. Dude, it's just... Are you kidding me? By the way, the BTS McDonald's meal? Fire. The fucking Cajun sauce? Fire. In an apparent bid to launch his own brand of cancel culture, Kim introduced new laws in December. Oh, this is kind of old news, I guess. Stipulating that anyone caught watching or possessing South Korean content could be sentenced up to 15 years of hard labor. Are you kidding me? The previous maximum punishment for fans of popular acts such as BTS was 5 years. If that wasn't harsh enough, K-pop smugglers could even face execution, while those caught singing, speaking, or writing in a South Korean style could be sentenced to 2 years at a work camp per the smuggled documents. Dude, how miserable can you be? dude, and people say, well, I'm not going to say that. But 15 years. It was previously 5. Specifically BTS, though. Like, if you listen to K-pop, 5 years, hard labor. If you're caught listening to BTS, fucking 15 years. And you better not be singing that shit or you're getting your fucking head cut off. I shouldn't be joking about this because this is real. Like, this is... that's why I'm joking about it, though. Because it's so outlandish that it's like, how is this happening? How is this still happening on Earth? How is there still anywhere on Earth that has a culture like this? It's fucked up. And then you got people that are like, oh, well, you know, that's just their culture, man. Like, that's, you know. No, that's fucked up. I mean, Jesus. Anyways. Actually, it says this past May, a citizen was killed via firing squad for hawking bootleg South Korean music and other entertainment. Dude, fuck Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong fucking rude, dude. That brings us to the closing of the podcast, but not quite, folks, because what time is it? I forgot I had that sound. It's time for monthly bars, people. I'm going to give you... I don't even think I said earlier. I'm going to put the link to the playlists, to the monthly bars playlist down below. It's going to be available on Spotify and Apple Music. That's it. If you use any other service, why? Change to Apple Music or Spotify. Here we go. Monthly bars, June 21. 10 songs on there already, folks. Again, you can click the description, the link in the description to check out the Apple Music or Spotify playlist, right? You can go there, check out, listen to it. This podcast is over, but we got Remble, Untouchable, Clinton Hill by Kota the Friend, Wu Generation featuring second generation Wu-Tang by Peter Rosenberg, Talking Back featuring Fat Joe by Benny the Butcher and Harry Fraud. That whole album, that whole Benny the Butcher and Henny Fraud album, what's that one called? The Plugs I Met Too. Definitely listen to that. Nascent, Duckworth, and Saba. I love Saba, dude. If you guys don't know Saba or Sabah, maybe I'm saying it wrong. I'm probably not. Check him out. Check out his song, Ziploc. Ziploc is fucking fire. It's not on this playlist. You know what? I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it right now. There's going to be 11 songs on this playlist because I want you to listen to this one. Ziploc. If you don't like Ziploc and you don't add that to your library, why are you even here? Big Homie featuring 2 Chainz by Simba. Kinfolk featuring Nephew Rick by D-Smoke. Blue by Kai Cash. I don't even, like, these are new artists to me, by the way. These aren't like, yo, I love this artist, I want you to check them out. Like, I explore Apple Music's playlists and find new music that way that I like. And now I'm sharing it with you. So I don't even know half these. I do know this next artist, Lloyd Banks, is back. He's been gone for a long time, I think. Last I heard of him was like fucking 2010 or something. Formaldehyde featuring Benny the Butcher. Benny the Butcher has been fucking killing it, guys. If you ain't listening to Benny the Butcher, then you ain't into real bars. Because that dude he's been featured on so much shit. He's been literally featured on more songs than he's made his own songs. And he completely takes the whole song. It's like, oh, this song's only good because Benny the Butcher fucking kills it. It should be the Benny the Butcher song, but it's not. Okay, that's it. That's the closing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, it's just the first podcast back, just getting into the feel of things, getting used to this new equipment and this new... Oh, by the way, you guys like the background? It's the background I use for my videos, but now I've got a blue light. And, I make the light a little less intense. Makes it a little more personable. And I feel closer to you. Even though I've actually moved further away from the camera to have more of the table in here, I feel closer to you, very dim, moody lighting. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please, I love you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Fucking, you know what to do. And I'll see you next week.